right, welcome back to another edition of Knicks Morning Koffee. I'm Mr. King, and then of course you know partner Joe Cool. First we know right now the first preseason game versus the Pacers. It was pretty good. From a standpoint of excitement and execution. So the excitement part was real crazy. Just being there because a lot of people hit me up too because I was actually at the game. I had a pretty good seat, close to the Knicks bench, and then somebody had sent me a picture of seeing me there on TV. But it was just like a real exciting game, especially for a first game. And one thing I like too is that Coach stood by his word. Last week when we talked about when he said he's going to hit the ground running, and that's what he did.
I don't think they was ready.
I seen it from.
I know they was ready, but I didn't think they really thought they were about to play the whole game.
Yeah, well, that was a good thing about it, and that was one of my takeaways too from that was that Tibbs plays his starters and his bench. He played them a lot of minutes, and then that to me, what would be the reason for that? Again, if he said he's going to hit the ground running, then hey, let's get out there and let's execute and let's put our game plan in place. Not to say that too. They only got 3 exhibition games this year, the Knicks. So you want to get people's win up also. But as far as building that chemistry, also you need to be able to do those type of things. So we talked about this a few weeks ago. That's what the good teams do. The good teams, they come back in the season, they got their core, and that's how they play their preseason games. And usually translate into the start of a good season. So I wasn't mad. Actually, I like that. He also coached like it was a regular season game. He was like, you see, like he was encouraging to push the ball, but like he was play calling. Like he was doing things that he would normally do. So I was looking at when they was calling timeout. I was looking at him on the bench. He was intense in timeouts, and I was just like, sometimes that's stuff we just see on TV. We just see the back of their head, but when them guys are locked in too. They ain't just like sitting there looking around the arena. He's talking, and their eyes are glued into his eyes. So that got to tell them this man mean business. And then the other thing that he was doing, he got on guys like it was a regular season game. So, he rode some of them. You can just hear it throughout the arena. It's almost like, woo, you got to have thick skin to play for Tibbs. Because I was like, damn. But to me, like from that first game, some of the things that I took away, and then I see that even too when we was talking, we didn't agree on all of them, But again, it's preseason and it's assessment. But like some of the things I took away was that we ran up tempo. Which it was, and we tried that in the past, but at least with Kimba and with Derek, they're naturally up tempo type of guys. It's just that in the past, once we get past half court, then we usually slow it back down.
Derek was like, he sped it up a notch. Kimba was taking his time.
Yeah, Derek is fast. Out. Derek is lightning quick. So when you fast like that, or should I say quick like that, then it becomes down to timing. Your timing plays. You got to get used to the speed of the game again. So but that was like they was moving it. So I give them credit for that. We shared the ball a lot. At times we overly shared the ball. And that part it settled down, but that part was just a little bit concerning to me because you want to say I'm playing for the guy next to me. But at certain times too, we can't really trying to be passing up on open shots.
Golden State did it,
but they didn't overly pass. They
didn't overly pass.
They passed because the concept with Golden State, like they got good enough shooters where they could just come down and pull it. We know, but the concept is when you're a ball moving team, if the ball moved 3-4 times, somebody open. Which in 3 and 4. 3 and 4, somebody's open. That's just a natural concept. So it looked like the Knicks they're not trying to emulate Golden State, but for the way they play, because we got some one-on-one players. So sometimes moving the ball sometimes is not always going to be your best option when you got guys that could just like get it.
I know there's some slight changes that we made. Everybody can score as soon as they touch it. So 40, it definitely makes it way easier.
Oh yeah, no,
all those things we used to complain about over the years, like why we just can't come down and get an easy bucket. He's just doing that.
Well, into the credit, which is also going to be, well, Fournier is going to help us more than we're going to help him because shooting is what he do, creating a shot is what he do. But it looked like they emphasized looking for the open man, not just the first time, but giving it back to him again right away the second time. That's an element, if that's going to be true to the season, that's an element that we haven't seen from the Knicks in that situation. Because you see the point guards was coming down, they give the ball to somebody. As soon as the person cuts back or whatever it is, they give it right back to them. So if you have a mismatch, and that's like emphasizing the mismatch. You know, I don't know what kind of code they may have for it, but a guy like Derek and Kimber who recognizes those type of things, you give it to me here, go right back. Go ahead. You know, so that puts people in position to shoot. And remember last year our problem was, why wasn't we looking for Bullock, like not just on a breakdown play, he's open in the corner, but on the swing, create the opportunity for him to be open. Make him open, because he's that good of a shooter. So it looks like what they was doing, it looked like that's going to be an emphasis on our team. Looking for the open shooter and then creating a shot for the open shooter. Not just always, drive and kick.
Yeah.
Bring him off a back screen. Bring him off something where he's open. And just a lot of little things about the game and it's still preseason, so you're still a work in progress. But just a lot of little things that I've seen that I said, if we're really going to be harping on these type of things, we're in a good position. Now, the defense needs some work, but without your two big men, it's kind of hard to really be up there pressuring the ball because you really don't got your rim protector. You got neither one of them. Neither one of them played. Mitch didn't play. Nerlens didn't play. So you don't got your rim protector back there. But we did do some, we did some good stuff on D. We played the passing lanes well. We helped out in rotation. Now, we helped out in rotation. The part about that was because they was getting a lot of open looks themselves. So the rotation part, it was the timing of the rotation. Like it wasn't so much a step slow, but the angle in which we rotate back. Because guys, as we was coming, they was going. So that's just your stance and your angle. Those are things that Tibbs can clean up. But just the idea of watching how they would like a quick double, and then either the man that's doubling would go back to rotate, or the other guy slid over and rotated. So and that happened a lot of times. A lot of times that happened, and I said, so this is going to be a staple on defense. That's probably something extra Tibbs put in because we didn't do that last year, but we did do it a lot in that first game. So it becomes like a timing play, and your stance, because you can't just anybody should know you just can't run out on a shooter, just only expecting he's going to shoot it. He got to move waiting on you as soon as you get there. So, but the fact that the passing lanes, we did that well last year. And playing the passing lanes, that's always been a Tibbs staple wherever he been. Guys just know that there's only so many angles to pass the ball from. And when you can take away the first three or anticipate the first one of the three angles, now you got a chance to get a steal or deflection. And even Derek was getting deflections. Just probably got to get his legs right in that sense to make the transition. But I like the way we did on defense. Just the things that we need to clean up.
Yeah, it looked like they was just trying to run.
Yeah, it took us on defense. It took time for that to evolve into something for the course of the game. But again, that's what preseason is for. But overall, when you add our big men back there, I think that's going to definitely help our defense because most all these guys came back. And when you do lose Alfred and you lose Bullock, it's like Alfred wasn't a stopper, he was still a defensive-minded person. So when you lose that type, and you're losing 2 in your starting lineup, that has to be something that just got to gel. Mm-hmm. And then you also just have to expect that, which also could be why they're also playing so many minutes. Mm-hmm. Starting the season. Probably a lot of reasons why they're playing so many minutes starting the season. But you have to get guys to understand the nuances of all those type of things on your defense. Because that's the one area of anything else that happens. The defensive side of the ball is the one area where Tibbs is just not going to compromise.
I mean, Clyde did say back in the day that, the players use preseason to get in shape. So
but that was the old days.
I'm talking about, so in the old days, that's what they did to get in shape. But I'm pretty sure now, with quarantine and these protocols, they can't even get in as much time as they probably would have a couple years ago.
Well, guys, a lot of people work. Well, this year was better than the year before in terms of getting in shape because the gyms were open. Remember, Obi said him and IQ, 3 days after the season, they was in the gym every day. So, and then the coach was saying last week, every day the gym was at least half full every day with players. So guys was getting in their condition. But what Clyde was talking about in the summers, and I remember that from past Clyde's time though, guys didn't work out in the summer. Guys vacationed all summer. They might have played ball, but they didn't train, but they wasn't making millions of dollars. Look at Kyrie. Every game, every home game you missed, every game over 300-something thousand a game. We ain't gonna touch that, but still, that's
some thousands.
That's a lot of cream.
No, Kyrie.
He got it. I mean,
no, he already got money because I'd have put that thing in the left and the right arm.
Need my foot.
You know what I mean?
My foot. That's the, Shoot. I'm pretty sure his family having a long talk with him. Like, I know you believe it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother kind of show. Like, that's.
Yeah, we should do something on the money game one day because even next year is another contract the NBA is getting. And the salaries are going to go even crazier. Because we know that the players get 51% of revenue from the NBA, and they split that. But still, like even that's going to bump up individual salaries. Even like, oh my goodness! All right, so
I wish I was like just 6'7".
Listen, I wish he was 7 something. All right, but even more.
That ain't no fun.
Our starters came in and played against their bench in the second half. So. And then that just further elevates the fact that what Tibbs is saying, I'm not worrying about what you're doing. This is what I got to do for our team, to get our team ready.
And the only reason why I got mixed up because I kind of agree with Tibbs. Like, you know what I mean? Every year, it seems like we don't have all our players, right? Every year, somebody's not ready. The starters seem like we're trying to figure out our starters. We don't know who's starting, who's playing. I kind of feel like this is the best way to break the ice, and if they're gonna get a break, they may get a break the last game of preseason. Like, when you think about it, who really gets a break? Like we talk about these rest days that LeBron and them getting, only them they really get that. The regular players they playing all 82 games.
Yeah,
and the playoffs in the preseason. So what about those players? Why? Because they sit on the bench, but they still playing, they still practicing, they still training hard. Like
and they still getting paid.
They gotta play against these dudes in practice and take these bumps. So what's the difference from?
Well, sometimes somebody may worry and say about injury, but when you coaching your team certain ways, you're not thinking about injury.
I'm gonna kind of be honest. We ain't play ball at that level, but we play high school ball, and we play like in tournaments. If you're a shooter, you're not taking that much hits. Like you're not taking that much contact, and you having a good game and everything just flying out your hands. You might go home and you might be like well rested. So like, you could say, oh, I can see like LeBron and like these people that like Westbrook being hurt, knees hurting, taking a lot of contact, or a big man that's always in the post. But let's be honest, these players ain't really getting hit like that.
Nah, and they already been playing together. A lot of them they've met up late in the summer, so they already been playing together. So a lot of the little kinks that get you hurt, you get hurt a lot when you haven't done anything all summer, and then you're trying to play your way into shape. Tibbs he's just not that type of coach you could play your way into shape for. Like you either gotta come in ready because he's not changing his style.
So yeah, the rookie said they was doing these plays at 110%, and in practice, it was still 100, but it wasn't like at the level they was doing it.
Yeah.
Just so they would be ready.
Yeah.
And know what they doing.
Yeah.
But that's what we need, because all these years of we'll figure it out. We in the NBA, you'll catch up. Nah, just know it now.
Well, plus Tibbs is trying to build chemistry with 2 new starters, also. So it's got to account for something. But see, the thing about the Knicks is always somebody's always not satisfied. Like somebody had mentioned with Duarte, who they wanted to draft, who they wanted to move up and draft, and he was on the Pacers. And then somebody had made the comment that the Knicks should have did whatever they had to do to move up to get him. But I like the guy we got because Duarte, yeah, he did play pretty well involved in the Pacers offense when he came in the game. But he's on the type of team where he could be able to do that. Plus, they had 2 starters out that would have had minutes from him. T.J. Warren and LeVert didn't play for the Pacers. So those are minutes that they would have had, he wouldn't have got. But on our team,
Duarte's not one of the players like, damn, we almost had him.
It's always position. It's always the position that somebody is put in.
Yeah. When
you put in a position where you can play and be a real part of the rotation, meaning like the ball going to find you, then people are going to look and say, like I always go back to John Morant. You put in a position to be able to use your skills because they can't take you out because there's nobody to take you out for. So they might as well let you go through your growing pains. But you may end up having a good season.
Yeah.
Well, our guy going to be all right. Our guy's going to be cool because the people that they're playing behind, they're going to learn from. And when they get in, they can be ready. So either way, kudos to the other teams. And we all kind of wanted Duarte a little bit. But
yeah, I watched something. It's all about the stars aligning because look at Quickly. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like seizing a moment. As soon as he played end of the first preseason game, what we all said, oh, he need to be playing. We all at least thought it.
Yeah, and he didn't play in the first game, mind you.
He didn't play in the first game. He played the end.
Yeah.
And we was like, he came in, he was like, oh, I think he need to play.
Yeah.
Then he came in that second preseason game, remember a little bit earlier, and we was like, I don't know, I think he need to play.
Yeah.
Beginning of the season, so like the stars aligned for Quickly.
Well, yeah, because
I don't know if you're going to talk about it, but
takes
same thing with the big 2, Jericho. I didn't really get that feeling. You know what I mean? Like, he played good, but I didn't get the Quickly feeling.
Nah, that
stars to me, stars got to. But where I'm going with it is, stars have to align for you to even be that caliber of player. Like, you got to seize the moment or that opportunity.
Well, the moments, guys like that, the moments are only coming in an injury.
Yeah,
that's the only time the moments are coming. Yeah. Sometimes they might come in injury, and because you might be so down far on the depth chart, it might come in an injury. To one, like the one guy get injured, and then you still might not be the next man up. So they'll take an injury and foul trouble. To somebody during that game to even get you in the game. And that's where Quickly made his mark. Because we were so interchangeable at that position last year, but when people started going down, then all of a sudden now it's like, okay, this kid.
Sorry, y'all. If y'all see the camera moving up and down throughout the video, we having some tripod issues. But if you hit the like button and get us in the algorithm so we can work our way up to, 1,000 subscribers. We can start
remember to hit that like button, yo.
Upgrade a little bit around here.
All right. So let's keep it moving. Another thing too, Kemba is the type of point guard who defenders can't keep him out of the lane, right?
Yeah,
so they can't keep him. 2 things. They can't keep him out of the middle of the floor first, because if you notice too, in the past, we have the guys, and Quickly was known for that himself. Guys would get the ball and they force you bring it up on the sideline because you don't have that capability to maneuver your way to the middle of the floor. Kemba has that. So they can't, a defender's not going to be able to tell Kemba, you're not going to get to the middle of the lane so you can start y'all's offense. He can get to the middle of the lane when you get the ball, and he also can get to the paint. And that's a huge thing, because a lot of our other guards, they would bring it up along the sideline, then the ball would move to the middle. Now we've already wasted 4 or 5 seconds, which would end up having somebody have to take a wild shot. Kemba gets that ball, he boom, 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 he in the middle of the floor. Nothing you can do as a defender. That alone is a skill, but that's a true point guard skill. And then he can get into the paint at ease, and then he has all the He has the jump shot. He got the pull up. He got the pick and roll where he can, dive in. I mean, just like we're gonna display so much in basketball. Like, we really a basketball purist. What Rose gave us last year was one thing. Even though I think Rose was better than Kemba, of course, in the heyday. But Kemba's going to give us that thing that we just never really had in so long, that type of ball handling skill to keep a play alive so that it can develop. He'll never pick up his dribble.
And I think he brings that actual New York excitement. New York loves the point guard position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kemba already has the demeanor of a New Yorker. Like, it's not like he's like mellow. That Connor really wasn't here. You know what I mean? So he didn't have that New York demeanor. But Kemba has that New York demeanor.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
you can tell way he look in the crowd, the smiling. Even when he shot the air ball, it's almost like we laugh with him.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah. Now let's get back to what you were saying about Jericho. Now this is where we had mixed emotions. What I was looking at, and then of course I always tape the games, and I went back and I watched it again.
Hold on, I just cleaned it up though.
Huh?
I just cleaned it up though. Well, I ain't mean it like that when we was arguing. I ain't really mean it like that.
I was like, well, I mean, people. I mean, yeah.
Like, just comparing it to the quickly
you said
he didn't have like a thing.
See, I seen that. See, I did see a thing because Jericho knows where to be on the floor, and then that was just so. It's just evident in the way he moved around. Like he know.
Oh yeah.
He knew when to dive. And the way he was getting in and out of the paint, and playing behind the baskets like that. That's a skill. That's another skill of a big man who may not always be the main focus. Yeah. Like a secondary focus, because that ball between either rebounding or dumping it into him, he get his hands on the ball. And one of the things he did in summer league that he had several opportunities. He had several opportunities to do in that game, but of course the guys are bigger and stronger. But he'll get that first leap when you get the rebound, or they dump it to you, get the rebound in traffic, and go right back up and dunked it. Now he dunked one, and 2 or 3 of them he wasn't able to come back up because he was going down too far.
Yeah, I seen him kick a lot of.
Yeah,
that's what I meant by nervous.
But not kicking the ball out. I'm talking about getting it, Joey, pumping it, and then going back up strong with it for the dunk.
What I said was look nervous. I thought. I'm not gonna lie, my expectation was a little bit too high for Jericho because I think he about to, in back of my mind, I think he about to come in and just start dunking on people. I ain't really think of him as like somebody swatting shots like Robinson. I said what's gonna happen is he's gonna score better than Robinson and Nerlens, and this was gonna happen. When he got the ball, he wasn't the dominant big man I thought he was gonna be. He was more so a fundamentally sound, good big man.
Yeah, and that's probably
so that's not so what I meant was when I say he was nervous, I meant like he didn't get the ball and tell somebody to move out the way or give me the ball. He kind of just went in the flow of the play,
right?
Come and set a high screen,
and that's gonna be his role.
Get the ball, pass it out, not really make a lot of mistakes. Remember, he did get it by the 3-point line. Remember, he got a little flustered and threw the ball away. Like there's a couple of times where he was flustered. That's what I meant by he was nervous. He looked nervous. The boy, when you because on
didn't
TV,
look like that to me.
But see, you was fancy.
No,
you was out there.
No, but even when I watch it on TV, like, yeah, of course though.
He's looking at coach like
Joey. It's
you know what I mean?
It wasn't a full house, but it was electric in there, and I'm pretty sure anybody that comes to the Garden as a rookie sees that. Now this is preseason, and you see that electricity. That's got to overwhelm you. But he played, to me, he played with poise. Yeah, he threw the ball away. I mean, Derek threw the ball away. But he played with poise.
You thought trying to switch it up.
No, I ain't trying to switch it up. But he played with poise. He knew where to be. He knew, he's going to be.
Yeah, but
he may not even get the minutes.
But I said,
of course, with everybody back.
It wasn't really disagreement. It was just.
No, it wasn't disagreement.
I just didn't think.
But I didn't think he was as nervous as you said he.
Like how I thought.
He did me. He did me for the role that he got to play.
Was Jericho nervous? Or,
of course he was nervous.
I'm talking about, like, what did y'all see?
Listen, I saw a big man moving around, and the way he. Well, we always got the guys. His instinct even to run out and set this high screen. the instinct of the way. Now all of our guys do that, but it's like I'm hoping both our big guys be there. But if one of them can't be there, I think I'm gonna be happy with this guy. You know, now we need bigger guys in there because.
So what I'm thinking, I'm happy with him being there if Taj Gibson, you know what I mean, is not there in the future, right? That's what I said in my head. So yeah, he was good to me, but I didn't. Listen, no, we need Taj, but what I'm saying is
insurance anyway
for our future. If he's gonna get better, we thinking like, all right, he's gonna be better than Taj. But that's what I'm saying. Like quickly in the future, I feel like he's gonna be better than what he probably is now because it looked like he got stronger. Remember, I said as long as he comes back at least stronger is what I care. His shot really still don't look that strong. He looks like he's physically stronger.
Yeah, it looks way better though. But this guy Jericho is just gonna be be insurance. But it's just the fact that if he has to get thrown in there at a certain period of times, he's not gonna hurt you. But we need bigger guys because just face it, a lot of these teams with these two big men, even in that game, you know, it was almost like in the beginning of the game because they have two 7-footers. They playing volleyball, and it's just not you can't go out there like that. But again, he's a good insurance piece who can steal minutes here and there, you know, and he's got to go down to the G League anyway for a while. Now here's one. RJ's jumper looked good.
Yeah, I was like, he's hitting minutes.
Yeah, but he does that sometimes. Yeah, he does, and it's going to be key.
If we always said, you know what I mean, better players take the pressure off.
Yeah, but that ball still find him the same way, so we're going to need that.
But it ain't going to find him the same way if he's hitting it.
Yeah, no, he don't have to keep hitting it because
talking about he gonna keep hitting it, but it's gonna be a little bit easier.
He's still gonna be the one that they rotate slower to.
Listen, all our players is good 1-on-1. The problem is for last year we was a little bit better, but over the years our 1-on-1 players getting triple team.
Yeah.
So now that you can't really triple team them, you might can double team sometimes, but you can't triple team.
For RJ, for me right now, we know he can do all the other things. But right now, the consistent thing I want to see, what we saw that day, is knocking down the jumper because they're going to still give it to you. They're going to give it to you.
Listen,
they're not going to believe you can burn me like that.
You know what I mean? I said y'all was all right.
Listen, I don't even care if he but I don't even care if he keep doing that. Do your strength. We have enough guys. Play to your strength. Don't let nobody trick you into thinking that you have to go, because Stephen A. does that a lot too about players. Tie this hand up. Sometimes right now, perfect at a young player, perfect what you do well first.
Stephen A., I don't even think got off the bench.
And then guys did too, yeah, right. Yeah, he played college ball, that was it. But a lot of our guys, another emphasis on our offense, a lot of guys, they move cleverly around the baseline. So I think that too is like the backdoor cut and the moving without the ball is going to be a big emphasis this year because it was a whole lot of that, of looking for the cutter. So just little things now, and when you got 2 point guards coming in all the time, back to back with the two, and he kept interchanging them too. So that's right there. I guess that just put in people's mind. I can play my game because the ball is protected, and that's the same thing even out on the playground. I can go run, and I can run towards the basket because the guy that got the ball, he know what he's doing with the ball. Yeah. And it just makes a player feel more confident. But it seems like they're also going to emphasize that, which is another way of getting, besides the fast break, it's another way of getting easy buckets, you know, that we don't really get in the past either. So when he did that, he did something where I was praying that he would put in the Summer League team. And he did that. It was for a short spell, but he put the Summer League team in with Knox. But it just didn't happen for a long time. And I was like, I was like, this is, you know, this is good for them to get that feeling from the summer, even just for a brief spell of having everybody out there that you play with in the summertime. And then you get that little swag you had in the Summer League that'll help carry you. Even if you're sitting on the bench, it'll help carry you over. Because Knox in that little bit of spell, and it was at the 4, he played pretty well.
Yeah, you know,
he rebounded in traffic. He got the ball outletted. You know, he got some open looks.
He played. He didn't play bad. He did what he's supposed to do. Yeah. I think he hit majority of his shots when he came in.
Yeah.
When he came in, but I think the problem is we had the rotation so tight.
Yeah.
And I don't think Tibbs got time to be trying to train him over or develop.
Well, he spoke highly of him. He spoke highly of Knox in his press conference. And Knox said himself he worked on defense because that's what's going to get you in the game. You're not going to be able to miss assignments. You're not going to be able to just stand out there at that 3-point line just waiting to shoot, which we see the transition with that part of his game. He did get inside and mix it up in that little bit of time.
Yeah, but
as
tight as the preseason was, how much you could work on defense all you want because his defense really wasn't that bad neither. It was the offensive consistency and him trying to do more. Like I think he's trying to figure out how to be a role player, and that's his issue, unfortunately. Because we know he probably better than what we think he is.
And that,
unless somebody get hurt, he's not even going to be able to put that out. Because we got so many players that can handle the ball.
Yeah.
We don't need him to be Kevin Durant.
We don't need him to be. But his skill set for the amount of money you got to pay him, I just say you keep him on the roster because if it comes down to where you need him, look what you got. Look what you got. Even if it's in short spells. And if he can do the other things, moving without the ball, and learn Tibbs' system on defense, which he's capable of learning it. When you play for Cal, Coach Cal, you're capable of learning it. So he put those things together. Look at the kind of player that you have.
I feel like if he comes in the game or ever, I think he got to come in knowing I got to knock down every shot.
Well, that's not his problem, knocking down the shot. It's the other things that Tibbs kept him out of the games.
Yeah.
It wasn't his shooting.
No, I thought it was the shot.
I
thought he was playing decent defense. I thought he was doing everything right.
I guess the missed assignments. It's the missed assignments. But you're just hovering around the perimeter. And remember, he had the games where he knocked 3 threes down in a row, and then we didn't see him for weeks. So what's not his shooting? It's the game. It's Tibbs' game. You're gonna play Tibbs' game on defense, or you're not playing. And it's probably not even just stopping the guy. It's knowing your rotations. So another thing I liked, and it was just one game, but it looked like we cleaned up our out of bounds plays. Remember how bad we was at that, and we did get better at that at the end of the season. But it looked like we cleaned that up, a little bit more movement, a little bit more things that make sense. Which I understand why out of bounds plays are hard, especially under the basket. But why is it so hard for us all the way around the court? But look at that. But that looked way better. The fact that it might not even really be a concern. Now Obi played.
Oh yeah.
Obi impressed me. I gotta tell you, I think he impressed everybody.
Yeah, I think we was kind of praying for that. We was like, if anybody gonna come back, you talking about better.
Yeah, you talking about what he carried over into the summer.
Yeah, he did. Whatever he did in summer league. It translated in preseason, so we got one more test. Is it going to translate into the season?
Listen, if he in his case,
the footwork, the he looked like a superstar.
The decisiveness. Remember last year, as soon as he got the ball, he just launched it. Feet ain't ready, just like a deer in headlights. But now it's like the flow of the game had a purpose for him, and he made the most out of because certain things you expected from Kemba. Fournier, Rose gonna give you, even to kind of know what IQ at that point is gonna give you. But he impressed me the most because if we can have a guy like that coming off the bench at a big man position, what that is going to do for us. Fournier will seem like to be the most valuable right now to me because he'll get more of the shots. He might not be able to pass them up because even him. Maybe even him shooting with somebody coming in his face, meaning Fournier, sometimes might be a better shot than RJ just being wide open as the season go on. But Obi impressed me the most, and I like you root for this kid so bad, and to see that progression. Oof, I mean, man.
Yeah, so what I was saying in my head, if he's coming off the bench, killing, 6-man type killing. I don't know. I think
that's what you do. If he's coming off the bench killing 6-man type killing, that's the role you have him play. You don't get into he's doing all this. let's find more minutes for him in the start. Like, no. You need those type of players. You need those type of guys on your bench. And one thing that New York always have a problem with, once we find another good player, instead of pairing them with the ones we got, we always want to ship the other ones out. So we ain't never stuck with a whole bunch of good players.
No, so my thought was, I think they said it. I didn't watch all the interviews, but I think they asked him playing Randall and Obi at the same time, but that would be hard.
No, it wouldn't though. It wouldn't be hard in small ball because Jericho was out there with Obi. Jericho's not he's not really I thought he was a 7-footer, but he's not really 7-footer. He's small.
About, like, where would you put both of them? Like 4 or 5 or 3, 4?
When they rotate, when they rotate in that positionless basketball, but that's not something that has to be done.
Yeah.
Like, there's no need to. I mean, there's times they may be out there together because you could probably have another big man out there with them in small steps because the way that Randall's out on the perimeter, Obi showed he can play out on the perimeter, and they can go back and forth, and you can still have a center in there if you feel like you need to do that. But that's not when they're running.
Now, what happens if, because this is my expectation, the way he was moving, and if he get way more comfortable than that, is it possible, has there ever been a superstar that's just stuck on the bench? Like,
I mean, not to say superstar, but what's the one from Atlanta? What's the one that always used to win is Lou Williams. He could start on so many teams. You know, Jamal Crawford could start on so many teams. You know, these are perennial 6th man of the year people who just comes off the bench because you need that. Every good team has that. So, I mean, back in the Lakers with Michael Cooper, he could have probably started on how many teams in the league. But he spent his whole career coming off the bench for the Lakers. So, but you gotta have that on your team. So right now we're not even saying he will be that, but it looked like he's on the verge.
He's post move. He's passing.
He get out on that break.
He's getting on the break. He's stealing. He's blocking.
He's rebounding in traffic.
So like, yeah, that's great to have that on the bench. But what I'm saying is, for somebody like him, his future, one, your name Obi Toppin. You sound like you supposed to be somebody, right? He's playing like he's somebody.
He'll be fine in that role.
I'm all for leaving somebody good on the bench, but if he playing any better than that throughout the season, next year there got to be something. Like, I'm not saying ship somebody out. I'm saying
but
if he earns it,
not necessarily though, because you developing. I mean, he's a 4-year starter. He's developing. You can get a lot of good years out of Obi. At some point, you may, if he's ready to start, but if you don't need him to, that's a good problem to have. Especially if his ego don't get into play.
So I doubt it's going to be ego, but I'm pretty sure when the contract is
he would have to do that a whole lot more to really even have that conversation. What we saw him do in the preseason and in the summer, he would have to do that consistently through the year to even really have that conversation. Here you go, starting trouble already.
Hey.
All right, so this is just a quick topic for today was, and I heard it somewhere a week or so ago, was that can the Knicks be a serious contender with Julius Randle as their best player? You know, so my answer to that question is I heard a lot of no's. We can't be a serious contender with him as our best player. But my answer is because that's why you surrounded him with the type of players you came back and surrounded him with.
Yeah.
You know, that's why you paid your big guys to come back who can clean up mistakes behind him. That's why you put a pure point guards on the floor at all times so that he doesn't handle the ball as much. And then you get better decision making. That's why you put shooters around him that even when he's stuck, he can throw out of the double team or he can throw out before the double team and they're capable of knocking down a shot. This is why he can be our best player and we can still be a contender because you brought in the pieces that help the guy do that. You know, he's not a one-man band. Never was, never will be. But he's a guy that proved that he's capable of leading a team.
Yeah.
You know, now, can we go further than last year? We can, again, because of the people that we put around him. You put real shooters around him.
Yeah, everything we asked
you
for
put playmakers around
him.
him.
Everything we asked for last year.
Yeah. Yeah, but it doesn't.
Randall and mine, we got.
Yeah,
everything.
we got.
Y'all didn't get the superstar y'all wanted. Remember, we didn't care. We was like, we rather just keep the same team and upgrade a little bit.
Yeah.
So we did that. We prayed our rookies come back better. They did.
Right.
Not only did they come back better, they came back me questioning if Obi Toppin should be in the starting lineup later on.
So that's the question now that we got.
What else? One more. They got to be one more.
He did everything. The Knicks did what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, and Randall has to come back even better than he did last year.
And that part we don't know if he did or didn't because that's a high ceiling. So that would be judged over time. But again, he don't have to do as much because the people around you are very capable, and the people around you got that cliche that they can do it and you still be on the floor and not be taking nothing away from you. And then what do y'all think about that? You know, can we be a contender with Randall as our best player? You don't got to be the best player in the league. You just got to be our best player. But we're gonna have a good season.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody, remember, please to hit the like button, comment, but surely subscribe and share the video.
And hit the like button too.
Peace. And tonight, Knicks Pistons tonight. Take care.